There are going to be times in every combat where you need to get somewhere and you're going to have a creature blocking your way. It might be a narrow hallway, it might be because of obstacles in the room, or it might be because there are multiple creatures and for some reason you need to get to the other side of them. Well, there's one way that you can do it, and that would be tumble through. Tumble through allows you to move through another creature's space, and we're going to go ahead and talk about that today. My name is Don. I'm trying to be the Sly Strategist, and let's go ahead and get into it. So moving through another creature space is pretty well defined in Pathfinder. You can move through the space of a willing creature without any problem whatsoever. However, if you want to move through an unwilling creature space, what you can do is you can attempt to tumble through that creature space using acrobatics. And remember, acrobatics is a dexterity-based skill. You can't end your turn in a square occupied by another creature, though you can end a move action in its square provided that you immediately use another move action to leave the square, so that you can stop as long as you have other actions to continue. Now, if two creatures end up in the same square by accident, the GM will determine which one is forced out of the square, or whether one falls prone, or whatever might happen, and usually that'll be decided by rolls. Let's go ahead and get in specifically to what Tumble Through does. Now, Tumble Through is a single action that has the move trait. What you do is you stride up to your speed, and during this movement, you can try to move through the space of an enemy or an unwilling creature of any sort. You would attempt an acrobatics check against the enemy's reflex DC as soon as you try to enter its space. Now, you can tumble through using various movements methods. You could climb, fly, swim, stride, or any type of movement action in the appropriate environment. So it doesn't just have to be stride. It could be a bunch of different things depending on what the environment you're in is. Now, there are two conditions for success. There is the normal success, which means you move through the enemy space, treating the squares in its space as difficult terrain, meaning that every 5 foot of movement costs you 10 feet of movement. And if you don't have enough speed to move all the way through that space, then you basically would get a failure. In effect, it is a failure. On a failure, your movement ends at the beginning of that space, and you trigger reactions as if you had moved out of the square that you started in. So this will actually give that particular creature reactions to include attacks of opportunity. Now, tumble through is a very good thing to have, and it is something that you can do untrained with athletic skill. However, if you happen to be a swashbuckler or a rogue, it kind of gives you a few extra things. And let's go ahead and talk about that. Now, there are a couple classes that really benefit from Tumble Through, and the first one I want to cover is Swashbuckler. Swashbucklers can use Tumble Through in order to gain panache. And panache is gained by doing pretty much anything with a little bit of flair, and Tumble Through is one of those things that is specifically called out for Swashbucklers. Also, when you are in panache, you will gain a +1 circumstance bonus to checks to Tumble Through if you needed to move additionally through more enemies or through more squares of creatures that are unwilling to allow you to pass through. There's also a second level feat called Tumble Behind. And what Tumble Behind allows you to do is it allows you to catch your foe off guard. So when you tumble through successfully, the foe you tumble through is flat-footed against the next attack you make before the end of your turn. So not only can you move through that creature, you can also make that creature flat-footed to your next attack. The other one I specifically want to point out is Rogue has something similar. Matter of fact, it's pretty much exact, except it's just labeled for the Rogue. It has a first level feat called Tumble Behind, and it's the same exact thing. When you successfully tumble through, the foe whose space you pass through is flat-footed against the next attack you make before the end of your turn. So it's definitely helpful for more than one class. Now, I hope this quick tip on Tumble Through helped you out a little bit, or let you know that there are a few things that you can use it for that you might not have thought of before, especially if you're a swashbuckler or a rogue. There are things that you could take that could really make it worthwhile. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, or hit that notification bell. But whatever you do, I hope you have a great day and happy adventuring. Thanks.